What's going on, guys? In this episode of Nerdy Plant Shit, we're going to be making a fully carnivorous plant terrarium featuring different kinds of Drosera, Utricularia and Pinguicula. Let's get it. Righto, so we're back inside. Plan is, we've got a little lower planting area for things like live sphagnum moss and some water-loving plants like Utricularia. Then we're going to head up in different levels for different species of Pinguicula and Drosera. We got a jar for it. It's full of stuff. Let's get rid of that first. No ways. And the bottle exploded and I got all the fucking glue on my hand. What this is going to do is we're going to actually water our plants through this tube, so there's going to be no top watering. We're only going to fill our water through here. Reverse osmosis water or distilled water is better if you can, otherwise throw your tap water in, it should be fine. Do you reckon I have to say anything after that? So now we've added a layer of weed mat on top of our drainage layer just to prevent all of our substrate from leaching into the drainage layer and clogging it up. On top of this we're going to add a thin layer of rinsed sand. On top of that another thin layer of a 1-to-1 ratio of sand and perlite. Substrate is going to be 2-to-1-to-1 ratio of peat moss, perlite and sand. Now our substrate layer we need to make very, very thin towards the front for live sphagnum and some Utricularia to grow. Towards the back we're going to have big cliffs or little plateaus of Drosera. While making these little levels you want to compress them as you go, from the top and from the side, just to make sure they don't just fall apart on you. The plan for planting, I'm going to put some live sphagnum right down at the bottom so it can wick up water from the reservoir. Small shelf for some Utricularia, Pinguicula, Rosette Drosera, Pygmy Drosera right up onto the top. Now we're not going to be fully planting this tank out, as I still do have plants coming in the mail. I have some Utricularia blanchettii and some Pinguicula on their way. Now when we fill up this terrarium, we're going to probably have the water quite high into this little sphagnum marker here. We have some Utricularia graminifolia. Now I'm just going to give everything a little bit of a spray as we're going, just to make sure they stay very happy. Now I'm only watering with reverse osmosis water. Tap water should be fine, but carnivorous plants usually don't like any excess minerals or nutrients in their water, so RO should be the safest. Now our next plant we're going to be planting is this small Drosera species. I can't remember what species it is. I did grow this from seed about 2 years ago. So we're going to use our forceps to just make a small little hole without disturbing the soil too much. Compact around the plant again. You don't want to push too hard and stop water from getting through. Our next plant, which we're going to be putting right up the top here, is little Drosera citrina. This is about full size. So you can see next to my finger, very, very, very small. So we're going to be planting right up the top. Now I did say before that we're only going to be watering through the PVC tube. The reason I've sprayed over the terrarium is to let some of the peat moss and some of the sand just settle in place. Now just to help your plants settle in a little bit, we can put a piece of cling film just over the top just to keep very high humidity. Just going to poke a few holes in it and hopefully prevent a little bit of mold. So it's been about a week and a half since we've made the terrarium and our plants have arrived in the mail. So we're going to have a look at how our plants are doing and then unbox what we got. Our sphagnum looks to be doing pretty good. It started perking up a little bit. Utricularia is looking really nice towards the back. You can see that settling in. There was a little bit that died off in the middle. I'm guessing that was from the tissue culture gel. But yeah, for the most part, it's looking pretty good. Our Aliciae up here is looking pretty good. As you can see, there's some nice bits of dew. There's a trainer up the top are looking way better, and they've settled in nicely. So now, we've got our new lot of plants, we're going to unbox them. 2 lots of Utricularia blanchettii, small little batch. Now, I've always wanted a pinguicula, looking pretty good. Looks like a happy, healthy plant. Very cool. So we've finished potting up our plants. Now we just need to get the rest of them into the terrarium. Let's have a look at it. First off, our Utricularia blanchettii. That's going to be going just on this little edge. So we're going to have the Utricularia graminifolia over here, blanchettii on this side, and hopefully they'll eventually merge together. Should be okay there on this side. Alright, so usually I have a huge problem of making a new terrarium and absolutely just overpacking it with plants. So this terrarium, we're going to try and keep it nice and simple, give lots of room to each plant, and then maybe in the future we can add a few more little ones from there. But that's all we need to do for right now, so I'm going to check back in 2 weeks time and see how the plants are doing. Alright, so it's been about a month since we've made the terrarium. I did say we were going to check in 2 weeks after we made it, but right as I was about to film it, I noticed some flower spikes popping up. So I decided to wait for them, and then after I filmed that, all of the footage got corrupted. So yeah, but we're going to film it again today, so not to worry. Let's go look at the plants. For the positioning of this tank, guys, I've had it very close to the grow light, as you can see, probably only 10 centimeters or so from the light itself, which is why all of our Drosera are nice and red and they're absolutely loving it. You will need to have it either close to a grow light or on a window which is getting a decent amount of sun. You can use the red on the Drosera as an indicator. Pretty much, if they're super green, they're not getting quite enough light. If they're nice and red like this one, they're probably doing just fine. With watering this terrarium, like I said, I've only been filling it up through the PVC tube at the top. You can use a spray bottle, or you can siphon it, or get a funnel and pour it in. One way to know when to water your terrarium, pretty much, you can see the tips of the live sphagnum here. Once they start going a bit crusty on the end, you've probably left it a little bit too long. So this one I actually did leave a little bit too long, but it'll be fine. Just don't let your sphagnum fully dry out and you should be fine. Also, if you would rather and you find it easier, you can water straight into this sphagnum. You can spray down to it. You just want to avoid disturbing the soil too much. Now, pretty much just going to show you the filling up process. I'll just spray through the top here. Now as we fill up, we should be able to see all of the soil slowly starting to get wetter and wetter from the bottom up, as the peat moss will wick up all the water. I just stop filling up the water once I see a little bit of water inside the sphagnum layer. You can see it getting nice and wet now. Now we can see a little bit of a pond forming. Not to worry, we'll wait to see if it wicks it up a bit. If you ever do fill up your terrarium way too much, you can simply just siphon it through the PVC tube. The best for siphoning these is this airline tubing. It's usually used for air pumps and stuff. Usually any fish shop should be able to sell it. So we're just going to put this down the back here. Easy as that. So we have finished our terrarium, but thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope that it helps you build a little terrarium of your own if you'd like to. Thank you.